about the work from home debate? That's sparked up again. Now, it's been revealed that the Fair Work Commission is investigating whether it needs to change the basic rights of up to 2.2 million Australians on awards. It wants businesses and unions to weigh in on working from home. Now, 3 federal government departments, the ATO, the Tax Office, Services Australia, that's people who, hand out the dole, and Home Affairs, they look after things like borders, will next week vote on the idea that there should be no, and I repeat, no formal cap on working from home. So what does that actually mean? Well, it's tipped that up to a half of the 170,000 strong public service could work full-time from home. So what does that all mean to private enterprise? Well, in heavily unionised private companies that don't rely on workers to be on the ground, construction, the care industry, nursing, aged care and childcare. But for the rest, well, the pressure will be on bosses. Let's break this down with Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry boss Andrew McKellar. Great to catch up again, Andrew. One of the things that came to me out of that story as a shock this morning when I read it in The Australian, there's 170,000 federal public servants.
Well, that's right, Steve. I mean, it's. You'll excuse my cynicism, but it seems we're, not far away from being in a people's paradise or from the fantasy land. But honestly, this seems to be the next front that's emerging. We've only just gone through a very surprising debate on the right to disconnect, something where there was an amendment introduced into the Parliament by the Australian Greens. Within the same day, it was pushed through by the government. The debate was guillotined, and now here we are a couple of weeks later with this sort of proposal and the possibility that we could see some of these government departments, with almost everybody, no cap working from home. It seems to be a sublime sort of situation, sublimely ridiculous situation, but there it is.
On these broader changes, I want to ask you about that. I mean, they keep coming. Governments and the unions, they're pushing really hard to change the way we work. What worries industry most? I mean, the new definition of what's a casual, forcing employers to make casuals full-time employees, the work from home push, the switch off your phone and don't be ever called at home by the boss. What worries industry most, Andrew? Is it all of it?
Oh, look, I think there are very broad concerns with the agenda that is being pushed. I think, what we're seeing, I mean, at the most fundamental level here, if we are going to have rising real wages, if we're going to have stronger incomes, it has to be underpinned by being able to work smarter, work more productively. That's what's going to justify, wage rises in the future. And all of this agenda is about really doesn't take any account of that at all. It doesn't mention productivity. I can't remember the last time I heard an Australian union leader talking about productivity. It's just simply not happening. And the government, unfortunately, seems to be following this agenda really without questioning that. There isn't an agenda for that sort of reform. And I think we're deluding ourselves if we think that we can become more competitive, if we can generate higher incomes without really making some of those tough decisions.
How do you get better productivity with 88,000 people working from home? I mean, look, I do some work from home because I can, but I have to come to a studio to do my proper job. I just find it ludicrous that we're going to get productivity up by telling people to stay home.
Well, I think that really is the great unknown. And I mean, look, work from home, I can see that there'd be an argument there that, greater flexibility in that regard would help promote participation. So for people, particularly with carer responsibilities, that may well be the case. But in terms of productivity, it's not clear that you can get higher productivity by having people working in a dispersed fashion. I think it's unlikely that that's the case. And really, this is very strongly an employee benefit. It would be something that employers, workplaces are likely to agree to if they can see that it's already been underpinned by productivity. So if we can work in a way where we can get the same level of output but work 4 days a week, okay, that's fine. But the idea that you can take this benefit first and get the increased productivity later, I don't think that's proven at all.
Just briefly and finally, I mean, do these public servants and union leaders need to be a bit careful what they wish for? You've got AI not on the horizon but already here. They may be talking themselves out of a job at all.
Well, AI, no doubt it is here. I think many businesses are still grappling with what it means in practice, what sort of jobs are going to be affected by that and how they'll be affected by that. Now, it may well add to productivity. There's probably no doubt that it will. So, but I do think here, there are many jobs that could be affected by that. Let's hope that ultimately it's a positive force in the economy and that it will make us more productive. But absolutely, I think it's a very legitimate warning that we should understand how that's going to impact first.
Andrew McKellar, great to catch up with you again. Thanks very much for your time.